The marriage wasn't born of love. It wasn't even born of diplomacy. It was shame cloaked in silk. Princess Varela of the Varnathi Dominion, third daughter of the Empress, once soared through the sky in armor of burning gold, a star-born warrior feared across sectors. But during the Krail offensive, a missile strike shattered her spinal column mid-flight. Her war cradle plummeted from orbit like a comet, and though Varela miraculously survived, her body did not. From the waist down she was paralyzed. To the Varnathi, a warrior who could no longer fight was a burden. A princess who could no longer fly was a liability. Despite her strategic brilliance, her mind sharper than ever, suitors withdrew, houses distanced themselves, and whispers turned cruel. Her name vanished from battle records and royal decrees alike. So the court devised a solution. They would marry her to a human, a lesser species tolerated for their unpredictable usefulness and tenacity, nothing more. It was a humiliation presented as kindness. Polite exile. That's how she found herself aboard the trade ship Nimble Hope, docking on Earth, in a mountainous region humans called the Colorado Rockies. Her aides left without looking back. She would be forgotten in a backwater with her husband, an assigned match selected for compatibility and obscurity. Her new residence was a solar-powered stone cabin far from any settlement. And he was already waiting. Middle. His name was Elias Kane. A retired combat engineer, human special forces, early 30s, broad-shouldered and dark-eyed with a scar running from his temple to his jaw, likely from a kinetic blade. He didn't bow, didn't flinch when she entered, and spoke with calm authority. "Welcome, princess." The lifts at the side ramp, reinforced flooring inside. "I built most of this for you. I hope it's comfortable." She narrowed her eyes. "You built this place. Yourself?" "Yes. I work with my hands. Don't like cities. You'll have privacy. Independence." The words struck her like strange weapons. Privacy. Independence. Words she hadn't heard since her injury. She expected pity. Or disdain. But Elias showed neither. He cooked, adjusted her chair without comment, installed robotic extensions for the kitchen. He asked her what she wanted and actually listened. And when she refused his help, he simply nodded and walked away. He treated her as a person, not a broken thing. First she hated it. Hated him for it. He had no right to be so unaffected. So human. "You resent me," she said one night over stew. Elias paused mid-bite. "Why would I?" "Because I'm your alien burden. Your assignment. They gave me to you like a problem to solve." He set his spoon down. "They gave you to me. But I didn't accept out of pity. Or duty. I accepted because I read your war memoirs. You were the only Varnathi commander who predicted the Krail would bypass Duran, 7, and hit Aldros Station first. You saved a lot of humans." Varela blinked. "I figured if they wanted to discard you, I'd rather you be here, where I could make sure they didn't win by breaking you completely." A strange warmth curled in her chest, unfamiliar and dangerous. Days passed. Then weeks. Spring softened the mountain air, and Elias took her out along sun-warmed trails he cleared himself. Drones followed at a respectful distance for safety. He carved a custom hoverchair with adaptive traction, letting her feel wind in her silver-pale hair again. She laughed for the first time in months. And then he showed her something that shattered her worldview more than any Varnathi lesson ever had. He taught her how to shoot human style. No mental link cannons or orbital targeting. Just her breath, a human-built rifle, and a paper target 300 meters out. Her hands shook. She missed. "You'll get it," Elias said, gently correcting her stance. She fired again. The bullet tore the center out of the target. She wept, not because she missed her old life, but because she felt alive again. Turn. One night, she asked him the question that had been building in her like static electricity. Why haven't you touched me? Elias, at his workbench fixing a drone's flight stabilizer, stiffened. You're my guest. My partner by law, yes, but I would never violate your autonomy. But I'm not made of glass. He turned. His gaze was searching, gentle. No, you're made of steel. They kissed. It was hesitant at first, awkward. Varela hadn't allowed anyone close since her fall, but there was no expectation, no pressure, only warmth. And for the first time since the war, she slept through the night. They grew close, not just as lovers but as equals. He sparred with her, mentally, tactically. She taught him advanced Varnathi encryption for fun. He taught her woodworking. She carved a bird once, and he hung it proudly in the kitchen. But peace, like all things, is temporary. One morning, the sky above the cabin split open with a scream of engines. A Varnathi cruiser hovered above the ridge. Soldiers descended. Her mother, the Empress, had arrived. Not to take her back, but to finish the shame. You dare call yourself Varnathi still? The Empress sneered, descending in robes laced with command glyphs. We offered you an escape, and you squander it in filth with a mammal. I found peace, Varela said coldly. And respect. You found oblivion. This mockery ends now. Guard stepped forward. Elias, silent till now, stepped in front of her. You'll leave. Now. The guards laughed. Until Elias activated a defensive grid with one touch on his bracer. Energy shields snapped into place. Turrets unfolded from the tree-line. Drones screeched overhead. The Empress scowled. You would defend her against her own blood. She's more than blood. Is fire. And you're just afraid that the fire still burns. That was when Varela did something none of them expected. She summoned her hoverchair, rolled forward and stood. Her legs trembled, supported by the neural braces Elias had been secretly developing for months. Nanotech enhanced with human persistence and Varnathi science. Every soldier froze. I may be broken by your standards, Varela said, but I am not defeated. And I will not return to a court that measures worth by the purity of bone and not the strength of spirit. The Empress, furious, turned and left. But Varela knew. Something had shifted. She wasn't just alive. She had won. Ending. After the Empress's departure, galactic news whispered of the confrontation. Human media turned Varela into an icon, the princess who chose Earth. Varnathi nobility reeled, and younger warriors quietly began requesting human-designed prosthetics and therapies. But Varela didn't care for politics anymore. She lived in the mountains with Elias, taught survival courses to wounded veterans, wrote tactical textbooks, and occasionally delivered lectures via hologrid to aspiring commanders. And at night, when the stars were clear, Elias would carry her to the balcony, though she could walk in bursts now, and they'd watch the constellations together. I used to think flying was freedom, she told him once. He kissed her hand. You still fly. Just in different skies. She smiled. The world hadn't wanted her. But he had. And together they rewrote what it meant to be whole.